and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Megan Daphne and I share everything DIY, home design, decor, home styling, everything in between. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Today I'm sharing the final look to my pantry doors in my kitchen as well as the electrical box. In my last video, I had shared that I was starting to DIY those, very simple, but just give them a little bit of a facelift and get them set up. The electrical box door had been off for 2 years and we just got used to the look of that. And that is no more, and I'm so happy to share that it's all complete and it just looks so good to have that done. So I'm also going to be sharing today my plans for our guest bedroom, which is the next big project on the go. All right, 2 super easy tips for when you're painting. I always use a garbage bag over my paint tray. That way when I'm all said and done, I can just take the garbage bag and throw it in the garbage. I can keep reusing the trays. I don't have to worry about cleaning them out. I just find this really easy and I do it every single time. The other thing is these Spot E pens. These are great. I bought them about a year ago and I only ended up filling one up, and I don't even have that color in my house anymore, but I've been cursing myself ever since for not filling them up with any of my main other paint colors because I have these dings in my walls where I just need something like this to do a touch up and I don't feel like pulling out my paint and a paintbrush and all those things. So they're super easy. They come with this little syringe. You pull the paint out of the can and then you put it into the pen or marker. Then you put the cap on. It has this little brush tip here and you just turn the bottom and it'll push paint out and then you can do your touch up. So I'm doing that now. I do recommend labeling them. I'm going to take some tape and write that down on each one because I have a feeling when these are all sitting in a drawer for 3 to 6 months, I will forget which one's which. So, but great little tips for painting. All right, so the screws are all out, but because these hinges have been painted, I think, many times to this trim, it's literally still attached. So I'm just gonna try to score it and see what that might do. But it's kind of looking like it's a part of the wall. There we go. I feel like probably could use new hinges, but we'll see. All right, I'm sure everybody's bottoms of their doors look similar to this, but you can just see like all this like fur and dirt just gets stuck and then it'll actually stick out, and then I always have to throughout the week kind of pull it out with my fingers. Anyways, I don't want that to be a thing anymore, so I'm just gonna try to shave a little bit of it off and see what happens. All right, I'm gonna reattach the door and see if that worked. I just used 220 grit sandpaper because the inner part of the door is just like softwood. I don't know what it is, but it's very soft, so it sands really easily. And again, it was like, I think just a smidge space I needed. So let's see, moment of truth. A little harder as we it's not catching on the floor. I think we might be in the clear. It's a little more tight in one corner than the other, but I'll see how this works. I realize now it's not a big deal. I can just take the door off and do that again if I need to. But now we're ready to paint.
I'm painting the pantry doors in the color Accessible Beige by Sherwin-Williams, which is the same color that I have painted on my kitchen cabinet doors. Once I completed 2 coats of paint, then I have these matching handles, pulls from Explore Hardware that match my cabinets in my kitchen, and they're this beautiful gold, and I added these on here and I think they look beautiful. Next up is the door to the electric panel. I decided to just paint it the same color as my walls, which is Dover White by Sherwin-Williams. At first, I just gave it a nice quick sanding with 80 grit sandpaper and then went over it with 2 coats of paint. And I got these hinges that aren't exactly invisible hinges, but they're pretty close. I got them for a really affordable price on Amazon. We just attach them to the door and then to the frame of the electric box, and they match really well with this leftover doorknob that I have from when I did the DIY nightstands in my bedroom. And now these doors are all finally complete. That electric panel box door has been off for 2 years, so it feels so good to get it back up. It was really the last piece that needed to be completed in this space, and I'm just so happy that it's done. This here is our laundry room that leads to our bathroom. It's an extremely small space, and we do plan to renovate this a little bit later in the year. And it will include taking this closet out and having a different space for all of this stuff. But for now, I just wanted to get it all organized as a part of a January reset and clean it out. And I have my husband helping me out, and it just feels so good to do little things like this in January as a reset after the holidays.
All right, so we're in my spare bedroom. I call it a bit of my guest bedroom, home office, also dumping ground because we live within about 900 square feet. It's a 2-bedroom unit and we don't have a ton of storage. So this is definitely a space where we put our gym bags, we put our work bags, we have our working computer, and all my craft stuff is in here. It's really just a dumping ground. So what I want to accomplish is to make it a little more aesthetically pleasing and also a little less cluttered and more organized, because when I come in here and work, I want this space to be a little bit better than what it is now. So the curtains that are hung in here are the original curtains from when we bought the place, and I'm going to be replacing those with some nice 2-page curtains. I'm planning to get a beautiful floral design within the curtains just to bring a little bit extra to the room. We are going to be replacing the trim around the window, and it is attached along the floor, but it's not caulked or painted or anything. We're going to get the closet doors set up and the trim all finalized, and then we're going to paint everything. I'm thinking I'm probably just going to do an off-white since I have all my doors painted shiitake, and I'll paint the closet door shiitake as well. I already have the hardware. I already have all the trim. I feel like I have everything, I've just been sitting on it. So that's my current project that I'm going to start working on, and I'm going to freshen up the bed to look a little bit better. It is, however, where our dogs like to lay. They sleep there at night, they lay on it during the day. So it kind of is a guest bed, but more so it's really a bed for our dogs as we really don't have many guests that stay over. So I want it to be functional, but also just a nice space to enjoy when we're in here.